So with Godzilla minus one basically destroying both American and Japanese box office numbers for the December season, it's very obvious that I think at some point, even though it's not announced, we will be getting a Godzilla minus one sequel. And Takeshi Yamazaki says he would like to do one more movie. One of the actresses from the film said that this could be the start of a new Toho universe. The thing of it is that we don't know right now. Do I think we will be getting a sequel to Godzilla minus one? If it's any indication from recent from how the box office numbers have been, then yes, we are absolutely 100% getting a Godzilla minus one sequel from Toho. Now, when and where we get that from, that's the hard part. That's the hard part to say, because we genuinely don't know what Toho's next move is. And also, it's funny because a lot of people have said it only had a $15 million budget. When Yamazaki came out and said, oh, it was less than that. I don't know where they got $15 million from. It was even less than that. So he didn't say how less, but I would imagine maybe about 10 million in US dollars, because the yen is much weaker than the US dollar. So a million for us is much different than yen in Japan, than a million US dollars in Japan. I digress. So yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. So that's what we're going to be talking about. What should a Godzilla sequel be like? What should a Godzilla minus one sequel look like? Now, obviously, a lot of people have really championed minus one as one of the best movies of the year. I have heard rumblings that it could be brought in for best foreign film, if not best film for the Oscars nomination. I don't know if that's confirmed. I don't think it's confirmed, but I would not be shocked if it did. Because really, the only two movies that have the only two real movies that could be real competition to minus one for best picture would probably be Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon, and that's really it. But we're not here to talk about that. So what should a Godzilla sequel be like? Now, I am going to have to to talk about what a sequel should be like, or what it could be like, I should say. I'm going to have to talk about some spoilers for minus one, because if I got, to do this, I got to talk about some spoilers, especially something that's been probably talked about a few times over. It's been talked about a few times already. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, is the whole thing of there's a scene, and this is where I think it could be going, is that there is two scenes at the end that make you go, oh, we do have some sequel bait. The first being is that after Godzilla is killed, we see the chunks of him as they're sinking into the sea. We see that it is Godzilla's heart is still beating, much like GMK, which Yamazaki said he took a lot of inspiration from GMK. The other thing is that when our protagonists all get back together and everything's okay after everyone thought they were dead, there's this weird moment where the one of the characters are you see something on their neck, and it's it looks like radiation burns, but it looks like it's creeping up, it's moving, it's creeping up their neck. And that could be literally anything. There are so many variables on what that could or could not be. Now, my dad has brought up the thought of maybe she's one of the shape-shifting aliens, the simians from the Showa era, or an Exilian. I thought oh, that'd be kind of cool. I thought maybe they were kind of gonna take something from a page of Shin Godzilla, where Shin Godzilla was basically a walking plague, or the whole thing of Godzilla's just a walking radioactive waste pile. What if they made him like a virus in a way? So it could be anything. So obviously, if Yamazaki plays on, does a sequel, he might play on that again. The other thing is, how do you top -1? There's the question of the hour: is how do you top Godzilla -1? I think you can. I really don't think you can. Not even Yamazaki could. Even if you get Yamazaki to do one more picture, the thing is, you're not going to be able to catch lightning twice. I mean, look at perfect. I always go to this example: Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Tobe Hooper was painstakingly making a horror movie that was a dark comedy, and then when he got the green light to do a sequel, he was just like, well, I can't do that again. I can't top that. I'm going to go in a 180 direction. Now, I'm not saying, like, make the movie like a comedy or something like that, or make it like Godzilla versus the Smog Monsters level of bizarre. What I'm saying is that I think we all know where this might go, is that Godzilla will fight another monster. Hell, Gojira's sequel went in a different direction than the first movie, because in that one, Toho really wanted to rush out a second film. I always like to bring this up. For Godzilla Raids Again, Toho, seeing like how successful Godzilla was in Japan, they basically were like, okay, we got to get another movie out, throw out Godzilla Raids Again, and it was not great. Now, I'm not saying Toho would do that again. I think if they would have announced that. They would have announced by now that they're going to do a sequel. I think they're just kind of waiting, I think they're just kind of like contemplating their next move. But I do think one of the next moves is Takeshi Yamazaki's probably not going to do the same thing over again. He's not going to be able to capture that level of... well, I take that back. He could. I mean, he's very big on drama and characterization. So I'm not saying he could. I'm just saying it's going to be hard to capture that level of raw emotion twice. But Yamazaki's proven he's a great director. I recently watched The Great War of the Archimedes, his movie that got him the job. It's about the Yamato, the giant battleship. It's a really good movie. I suggest, if you have Amazon Prime, I highly suggest you go check that out. But the point I'm trying to make is that Yamazaki might not want to do the same thing over again creatively, because A, you couldn't replicate that again, and B, we already did that. So, as a director, and Toho is really picky on what you do with their IP. They are, if you think the MCU producers and directors and Kevin Feige are like, real control freaks, they got nothing on Toho. I guarantee you that they have nothing on Toho. But the fact that I keep saying the point is, when I'm trying to get to a point, and I make another point, so I'm sorry. But that's the thing, is that Toho is very restrictive and very, like, we will watch you. Oh, you made us all this money, Mr. Yamazaki. That's cool. This is still our IP. You should be thanking us for letting you do this. So, I think Yamazaki and what Toho might do is go in another direction, rather than I think they will keep that kind of level of darkness. But I think, logically, if they did another sequel, it would probably be about another monster. I think, like, that's and obviously Yamazaki helped make the Godzilla ride that featured Rodan and Ghidorah. I think Mothra was in there, too. I need to watch the footage again. But, he's probably wants to do another monster. He would probably want to do a monster fight. And plus, maybe he can interject some cool character stuff of talking about, like, something that the MonsterVerse is just now trying to do in the Monarch TV show, is that, we're not the dominant species anymore. We are, ants below the feet of God. And that's what I think Yamazaki would really capitalize on with, what he touched on of, mankind being the underfoot of Godzilla in the first one. And we saw that in Hideki Anno's Shin Godzilla. But I think, like, that would be kind of neat, because the MonsterVerse is only now trying to touch on that, and they're just trying to catch up, whereas Yamazaki in a second film could really hammer home that mankind is nothing now. Like, it's almost like an H.P. Lovecraft thing, where, like, mankind literally knows jack all about the universe and all that, when Godzilla's battling another monster. And that's the other thing. Would it be too much to ask to have Toho make a new monster? I understand that, like, Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan, all of them, get people in seats, but, like, it wouldn't hurt anybody to bring in a new monster for us to gush over. Like, it wouldn't kill anybody to bring in a new kaiju. We've really only had the Mutos and the Scar King, and those are from the MonsterVerse. and also this new Glob monster from the IDW comics, and some other crystal monster from also the IDW comics. We really haven't had anything from Toho in terms of new monsters to really play with in recent times. So would it be kind of a risky gamble? Yes, but I think if Yamazaki gets to play with that idea, really get to play with those ideas, I think he can make a new monster work. Or because I like, as much as Ghidorah is my favorite non-Godzilla kaiju in the Godzilla universe, I don't want to see Ghidorah for a bit. I'm kind of like, I don't need you right now. It'd be cool to see you, but like, you show up everywhere, Ghidorah. I kind of want someone new. And I'm not talking like, oh, let's bring back Gigan, let's bring back that. And I'm like, I'm even telling G fans, like, we can't just have the same monsters over and over again. We need some, some new blood to gush over. Some new action figures to put on the wall. It wouldn't hurt, is all I'm saying, is like, have someone new. And but the problem is that Toho gets really cagey about bringing in an absolutely new monster rather than having familiarity, because the box office numbers, cycling back to the Heisei era, they brought in Biollante, which was a new monster right after Godzilla 1984. And the box office were kind of low for that one. Even 2000 and Megaguirus were kind of low. But having said that, though, other new monsters did well. Obviously Destroya did well. He's a very popular monster when he was introduced. I'm just saying, it's a gamble, yes, but I think it's a gamble Toho should take. But anyway, yeah. And also, I don't think we should be, like, here's the other question of the hour. Do we make this a cinematic universe? A lot of the actors and actresses from -1 talked about the aspect of maybe this could be the start of a cinematic universe. I think that'd be really cool. Get the Monsterverse over there, the Toho-verse over there. Really awesome. I would be totally fine with other monsters, new and old, getting a new universe from different directors. Toho's own MCU, like they did back in the Showa era. Anyway, but you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think? What should a Godzilla -1 sequel be like? Just comment below, let me know. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.